Please have a seat. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here this morning. And as I look out, I see many familiar faces that have had a long interest in computer science and coding, and appreciate all of you being here this morning. Superintendent, I would like to make a few comments, but before I do, I would invite you to come up and share a few words, and particularly the good work your department is doing and the task force has been doing on this very important issues.
Excellent. Thank you, Governor Mead. And first of all, thank you so much for your support of computer science and interoperability and connectivity across the state. Certainly not just since I've been in office, but for 4 years prior to that. That's been a priority of yours, and it's certainly appreciated and has literally and figuratively paved the way for us to do the great work that we're doing in education with computer science. This is the second year that you've been able to proclaim Computer Science Education Week, and we are so thrilled. A good friend of ours, David Pomerly, once said you have to catch up to get ahead, and indeed in Wyoming that's what we had to do, but we are caught up and we are moving ahead. So with this second proclamation, we are able to celebrate computer science and education for the second year in a row. Prior to Computer Science Education Week, we had 0 schools that were participating in any official capacity in code.org or the Hour of Code. Last year we had over 300 schools that participated. This year we have more, and we've invited makerspaces across the state to participate as well. So as we think about computer science and education, and we think about this week in particular, it's easy to get hung up on the coding and programming aspect, but there's so much more involved in computer science, whether that's applied technology or IT or computer or cybersecurity, coding, of course, programming, so many aspects that we know are part of our culture today and a bigger part of our culture tomorrow. So my vision for computer science education is that every student in Wyoming knows how to code and knows what's beyond the screens of their phone or the screens of their computer, so that they can think innovatively and creatively about how to solve the problems of today and the problems in the future. With that, we also want every student to have access across the state, no matter whether they live in Meeteetse or whether they live here in Cheyenne, to advanced opportunities for programming. I see some of our business partners and others who are in the audience today, and certainly they're helping that come to fruition. And that's really the best part about computer science education, is that it isn't about education. It isn't about government. It's not about the governor increasing connectivity. It's about all of us working together to make sure that all students have those opportunities to code and to program, not just in school, but in our community, and understand that innovation and technology is a necessity. It's not a luxury. So with that, Governor Mead, we thank you so much for your continued support, not just of connectivity and interoperability, but of computer science education, and of really moving that forward. I'll just end with, last week I had an opportunity to listen to some cutting edge speeches about artificial intelligence and coding and programming, and Wyoming is on the cutting edge, and we are doing it right. There are 9 pillars in computer science education that states should be aspiring to, and we are on our way in every 9 of those pillars. Thank you again for your support.
Well, thank you, Superintendent, for your leadership and fully embracing this and moving the ball forward. So we appreciate your work. Thank you. As Wyoming has moved forward on this, there's so many people to thank across the state of Wyoming that have worked on this issue. Want to recognize the Computer Science Task Force the Department of Education put together, along with your team, Superintendent, and along with a lot of private sector people that have encouraged the state to move forward on this. First, I want to recognize this is being a live stream, which I think is wonderful. As we talk about technology in the state of Wyoming, I know that there's greater opportunity for government access through the use of live streaming and telemedicine, teleeducation. And so one of the good suggestions to me as I was having a meeting about a year ago, and I was sort of pounding on the table how Wyoming wants to move forward in technology, and the advice was, hey, if you want to be a leader in technology, use technology. That occurred to me that was a very clear, good statement. And as I think back just in terms of my personal experience, when I went to college, there was an opportunity to take, at that time it wasn't mandatory, you had an opportunity to take computer science. And this is going to date me, but at that time, you went up and you had a little terminal, and it was basic coding, which was not basic, just so. And so you try to do your work, and then you walk down, I think, 3 or 4 flights of stairs, and there's this very big, very cold room there, and it gives you this printout of what you have done. And something happened between my typing and that printout, and to this day I'm convinced I had a virus because I was very horrible at computer science. But in thinking about where we have come from that point in time in my life to where we are now, as the superintendent said, it's no longer just, hey, this would be fun to do, or there's an opportunity. It has become necessary for us, and particularly for our kids, to learn about computer science. As I have had an opportunity to try to recruit companies and talk to companies here, we're no longer talking to just companies about, is there an opportunity for data storage? We're talking to companies that are interested in artificial intelligence and Bitcoin and similar types of products. And avatars, we're talking to a company now that wants to see if there's the use of avatars in our mining in the state of Wyoming. And so what we have to do is make sure not only are we a state that says, hey, we use technology, which is important, we have to say that we're a state that is providing innovation in the next technology. We know that in the coming years, there's going to be a change in workforce requirements. And none of us know exactly the extent of that, but we know it's not going to look like what it is now. If you have autonomous trucks driving I-80 and I-25, what is the education necessary so that our workers aren't just displaced, but we are on the cutting edge of providing that technology, that our workforce is engaged in that and can learn from that and be leaders not only in the Rocky Mountain region, but in the country. But it starts at the very basic level. And I, like the superintendent, as we're going through recalibration, my first request was them to look at, I would like to see coding at every grade level. And when you say that, you understand there's an expense associated with that. But you look at the net, there's a greater expense in not doing it. We need to do that as a state. We have this small, wonderful state that has done some remarkable things. Our connectivity level to our kids is twice what the national standard is, twice the national standard. We need to continue that leadership, and in a small state, we can do that. We can get these things done. So I'm not sure what the next 5 or 10 years looks like, but I know it's different than now. And I know that computer science and education and innovation in computer science is going to be a big part of it. So we look forward to the progress that we have seen in the last 7 years, the terrific progress that we've seen in our schools in the last couple of years. I thank the educators in the schools for embracing this fully and moving forward. And when you see here in Wyoming, for example, right here in Cheyenne, an opportunity for coding school, we know that we can get these things done. I have now joined an organization that is a bipartisan organization with governors that looks at this very issue on how we can drive this across the country and have the opportunity for friendly competition between states to see who can be a leader. And my vision is that Wyoming should be the leader in this. And it's a great opportunity now, as we recognize through this proclamation the importance of it, to continue that leadership vision. So thank you very much all for being here. And the live streaming will not report, but record crowds here today. So it was jokes. Governor's Proclamation. Whereas computing technology is transforming how people interact with each other and the world around them, And whereas the field of computer science underpins the information technology sector of our economy, and the outlook for computer science jobs is bright. Half of STEM jobs in the country are in computing occupation. And whereas providing students the chance to participate in high-quality computer science activity exposes them to rich opportunities and provides critical thinking skills. And whereas computer science education is aligned with the core of knowledge and skills found in Wyoming statutes. And whereas an hour of code participation can demystify the field of computer science and encourage more students to take up further studies in computer science. Now, therefore, I, Matthew H. Smead, Governor of the State of Wyoming, do hereby proclaim December 4th through the 10th, 2017, as Computer Science Education Week in Wyoming in support of the Wyoming Department of Education's mission to create opportunities for students to keep Wyoming strong. Thank you, everybody. We would be honored to get this group up here for a group photo. If any of you are interested in coming up, thank you very much for being here. Representative, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
It's a big deal.
Stand right here, Representative.
Hey,
Good morning. Nice to see you. You're interested in computers.
Yes, sir. Nearly. Tall people in back, short people up front.
Cindy, come on up. Good to have you here this morning. Thank you. Try to scoot
Yep,
forward.
okay.
I'm gonna get cozy. I don't use this pen, but I give it to you for your use or to give it to somebody.
Thank you very much. All right, you can get closer.
Yeah, Bob, you are not, you know better. Come on.
No dogs on the table.
I need gentlemen in the back with the glasses. Go one way or the other. There you go.
One way, tippy toes, easy.
Yeah. Okay, I think I can see everybody's face now. Ish. All right, let's give it a try. 3, 2, 1. We'll do one more. I will. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.